This is Igor, named after the man who designed it, Igor Sikorsky. And this 7,000-pound helicopter, originally used for evacuating troops in Vietnam and Korea, has been highly modified. Capable of lifting over 4,500 pounds, Igor is an integral part of any air and sea recovery that must be performed on a moment's notice whenever a private plane, jet, or even a helicopter comes down, particularly in an environmentally sensitive area like the Florida Everglades. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Dyer, and welcome to Recovery. There are at least 50 air disasters every year just in South Florida and the Caribbean. They're not the normal air disasters associated with the well-known carriers. Typically, they are private aircraft, from Learjets to helicopters to other smaller aircraft. During the next hour, you'll meet the experts and the professionals who are on call 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
I got an emergency call last week from an insurance company in New York, and they had told me they just lost a 4-passenger off the island of Captiva in some very sensitive water. Their immediate concern was naturally if the airplane had spilled any oil or any fuel had gotten in there. We immediately dispatched a small boat with some divers. We put them in the water. I admit that at that time the water was very cold, the water was rough, and it was very windy. So we put the divers in the water. They ascertained very quickly that there wasn't a fuel spill, there wasn't a spill as an issue, so we dispatched a barge with a crane attached, and we put the divers back in the water, rigged the airplane up, lifted it onto the barge as quickly as possible, and got it to the land. In these cases, it's very important. The National Transportation and Safety Board investigators want that airplane removed from that water as quickly as possible so they can continue in their investigation.
Go ahead and pull it.
In this case, we were called out to the scene of a small aerobatic plane that unfortunately had killed the pilot and a passenger. And apparently they were doing some maneuvers and the airplane got out of control and impacted the water. Those areas in the Everglades are now protected areas, and when an airplane goes down, they only allow very few resources around even the accident. Only airboats, and in this case we had to use the helicopter. We had to put our guys in the water from the helicopter, take the airplane apart, try to package it in 2 separate lifts. You can see from the footage that we've used a cargo net to wrap the airplane wings up in the cargo net. As we lifted it up, it was pretty unstable, but the helicopter pilot did an excellent job getting that back.
NTSB officials say they've completely wrapped up their investigation of the plane's wreckage.
No indication of a mechanical failure of the power plant, associated accessories, the airframe, or flight controls.
Conditions are just awful for this type.
Propellers and engines will be taken to the Pratt & Whitney factory in Canada where they were manufactured. Within the next several weeks.
These highly trained professionals make sure that after a disaster happens, the crash area is completely safe and contained. Covering the whole of Florida and the Caribbean, the men of Air and Sea Recovery literally perform miracles. And you will see some incredible footage from planes that went down in the Florida Everglades, the Bahamas, and the Florida Keys. We've all seen deadly crashes on the nightly news. But until now, you have never seen exactly what happens to the debris and wreckage afterwards. When a fatal accident occurs, it can take up to 3 years for the tragic chapter to finally be closed. Our cameras will go behind previously closed doors, and we'll show you the experts sifting through every minute piece of material to try and determine exactly what caused a particular fatality. One tiny mistake, even undetected by the human eye, resulting from the aircraft wreckage being mishandled or transported the wrong way, can easily result in costing the insurance company millions of dollars. We'll be back in a moment with more dramatic stories from Air and Sea Recoveries.